why I hate the UK. I hate the UK because when I was 3 years into stand-up comedy, I got invited to the Soho Theatre in London to do a 1-hour comedy show. And it was a big deal at the time. It's a very prestigious venue. The Soho Theatre in London is like the piazza of the British comedy community. It's the gatekeepers of what's cool and what's not cool in the British comedy establishment. And getting invited there was cool, especially coming from Southeast Asia, where it's like nothing you do in English in Southeast Asia is worth a damn unless like white people co-sign it, right? And this was the ultimate co-sign. It was like, oh my God, the English are asking you to perform comedy in English to the people who invented the language? It's out of control, you gotta go. The motherland is calling you. And I was like, fuck yeah, of course I'll go. I was excited to prove myself on the international stage, so I gathered together all the material I had. I cobbled it together into barely like an hour worth of stuff, right? Whatever I had written to that point. I put it in a suitcase and I went to London, like Paddington Bear. Right? And I got there and I got a 2-week run at the Soho Theatre in London. My first time in London, first time performing in London. I remember opening night of my 2-week run. I was 2/3 into the show. And the show was going okay. The energy was much like it is right now. It's fucking, where's this going? And I did this joke about how it's for my first 5 minutes of comedy. It was a joke about how Asian parents love their kids more than white people parents. So the joke was something like people always ask me what my parents think about me doing stand-up comedy, but you never ask these other white comedians that question because you know their parents don't give a fuck about them. So I did that joke in London, and some people laughed and some people didn't laugh, just like in this room. But that's what it is, though. That's the ups and downs of comedy, right? That's what you do. You build it up and then you pull the rug out by saying something outrageous just to break the tension, right? That's the only way I know how to do it. That's 101. So I did that bit, and some people laughed and some people didn't laugh, and then we just moved on to the next bit, right? But before I could move on, this old British person in the second row of the Soho Theatre stood up and started yelling. And I don't want to gender this person, but just imagine old British person complaining during a show, and like, what gender do you see, right? So anyway, he stood up and he said, "Fuck you, my parents loved me." And I was like, what? And he goes, "My parents loved me, man, and we invented universities, and we invented the Westminster parliamentary system." And he started going on like a Western civilization open mic, right? And I was like, no. So that joke wasn't about you at all. Don't take it personally, right? That wasn't about you and your parents. If anything, it's about me and my parents and how society views us. So don't take that personally. That wasn't about you at all, please. And he just wouldn't let it go. He just said, "Fuck you, my parents loved me." And we argued for 2 minutes about whether his parents loved him. And I knew what that energy was. Like, I felt that energy growing up. It's very familiar. It's the British expat in Asia. Don't tell us we suck. We used to own your region. Live without consequences because we have exit strategy energy. And so I just went, you know what, man? Like, what 2/3 into my show right now? We've been arguing about whether your parents loved you for 2 minutes, which is an eternity in a live show. I don't think I'm gonna convince you that I'm a good comedian. Maybe you should just go. And he said, "I paid £10 to be here. I'm not fucking going anywhere." Which is a very unusual stance to take at a comedy show. And so I just said, "Well, okay, I'll pay you £20 to leave." And so I did. And he left. And that's a terrible business model for comedy, by the way. That will never happen again. No refunds ever again. I don't give a fuck what happens tonight. Your money's already mine. Do you understand? I don't care what. You can storm the stage if you want. I'll have an early night. All right? You decide how long you want the show to go for, because your money's already mine. And all that actually happened. He stood up, he yelled at me, I paid him 20 pounds, and then he left. And that's not even the reason why I hate the UK. I have conservative parents, all right? I was taught if something goes wrong, blame yourself forever. And I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that. I subscribe to that YouTube channel. Let's do this. Let's take some personal responsibility. I gotta get better. I will get better. I gotta get better at jokes. I gotta get better at dealing with people. I'll come back. I'll come back and I'll win these motherfuckers over. I'll come back and I'll be undeniable to the British. And so for the next 2 years, I worked on my next hour of comedy, right? I tried to make it more universal, less parochial, more whimsical, right? More of this shit. Teddy bear or whatever the fuck I thought they wanted, right? Just pandering the shit out of it. And two years later, I got invited back to the Soho Theatre for another 2-week run. And I was ready to go. I was like, fuck yeah. Excited to go. It's like Rocky after the montage, right? It's like, you killed my black friend, I'm here to kill you now. Let's do this. I'm really bad with analogies, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I got invited back. I remember opening night of my second 2-week run at the Soho Theatre. I was 3/4 into the show. And I did this joke about how, and keep in mind what I'm about to tell you is a joke from a much younger person and a much more inexperienced comedian. Okay? So if it helps you process this, just view what I'm about to say as being in quotes. Okay? I am not actually doing this joke right now. I am quoting another comedian who did this joke in London in 2012. That other comedian just happens to be me.
That's the footnote right there.
Also, I was a lot younger and more inexperienced, and my crowd was also a lot younger back then. Okay, it wasn't this divorcee babysitter crowd, right? I don't know what happened. My audience has aged horribly with me, but I can't explain it either. But here we are. All right, so let's just try to make the most of this. So view what I'm about to say through that lens. Younger comic, younger audience, all right? Or come cancel me. I don't actually care anymore. So I did this joke about how it started with when I was in high school, I was really awkward around girls. If I had a crush on a girl and she didn't like me back immediately, I took that as a sign that I needed to try harder to win her over. So I try to show her my sincerity by buying her flowers, I buy her chocolates, I give it to her in class. I hand draw comics where the ending was we got together, right? Just horribly embarrassing shit that I still scream about in bed 17 years later, right? And like most guys that age, I didn't know how to control my emotions, and guys are already base level dumb, right? And then you add hormones on that, that's just like dumb on dumb. And you start going down that spiral that most guys go down, which is like you try to analyze how to get girls to like you, right? You start like trying to break it down, like math, and you're like, okay, you gotta be a bad boy, they don't like nice guys, blah, blah, blah. And it took me so long to realize the secret about women, which is that if you like a girl and she doesn't like you back, all you have to remember is that women don't owe you anything. That's what it is. Women don't owe you anything. Yeah. So guys get hung up. Yeah, some guys get hung up and they're like, yeah, but I bought her flowers. Why didn't she want to fuck me? Because they don't owe you anything. Yeah, but I spent the weekend fixing her computer. Why didn't she want to suck my dick? Because they don't owe you anything. Get it in your head. Women don't owe you anything. It doesn't matter what you do. That's on you. Whatever you do, that's on you. Don't put that on them. That's your shit. Right? Women aren't just vending machines you put kindness into until sex falls out. Okay? They don't owe you anything. Women aren't just like coffee cards where you get 10 stamps and then you fuck. Right? They don't owe you anything. Get it in your head. They don't owe you anything. Anything you do, that's on you. That's your shit. Figure it out.